Welcome to California on the Monterey Peninsula, where JCTV welcomes you to this Thursday afternoon of open-wheel racing at one of the most historic and pristine racetracks on the planet. It's the inaugural season of the BSR Your Weekend Warrior Formula Float Championship, and it begins tonight and right now from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. This 11-turn, 2.23-mile road course features some of the most challenging aspects in all of motorsport, and tonight these Formula 4s are getting ready to roar for the first championship event of the season. They'll attack turns like the Andretti Hairpin, the Rainy Curve, the Rahal Straight, and of course the Corkscrew. Good evening, everyone. Adam Kuhn alongside with Josh Copano, and reigning in the Pits News Truck Series champion, Alonso Chicano. We're here on the call tonight. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, how you doing? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm super excited to get this started. This is going to be a great season, and it all starts here at Laguna Seca.
I'm pretty excited for this one, guys. We haven't seen any road racing on JCTV as far as road cars go. This is a little bit out of my comfort zone from what I'm used to, but I'm definitely excited for this. Really looking forward to this season, and I think these guys are going to put on a great show for us.
And speaking of outside of your comfort zone, there's a reason why I'm in the booth and not in these cars. I feel a little bit more comfortable here because this type of racing isn't really my expertise, but I'm really excited to get some more experience here in the booth with JCTV and be able to watch these guys do their thing around these really great tracks that we have here in this season. It's an awesome schedule, and it's going to be tons of excitement, for the next few weeks.
Well, Alonso, let's start out right off the bat. What makes the iRacing Formula IRO4 so difficult on the service here?
It's just tons of power, and on a track like this, where you have that, this iconic corkscrew, change of elevation, and these tight turns, all that adds up to, getting these cars pretty loose, especially on exit. I've seen so many people kind of lose traction, get themselves into the dirt, and you really have to try to find a balance of putting the power down, but also having that finesse of managing these cars around this really tough track to find that perfect balance and be really fast and most of all consistent.
Well, we're going to see a lot of mistakes tonight, I'm sure, guys, because a lot of the drivers in tonight's show are usually over drivers. Like yourself, Alonso, not a lot of road racing, like you mentioned, and with a lot of power, these cars play a lot of challenge, and we're going to see that tonight. We've had some preseason races and a pilot season, but not a lot of over guys participated in those, and they're going to be having an uphill challenge against some of the ringers tonight.
Yeah, I'll tell you who did participate in them, and that's Brett Bennett. And not only was he just running around competing, but he was out there being fast. And actually, out of all the drivers that running preseason races, I believe he scored the most amount of points. These points didn't really count for much, but it did give us an idea of who's going to be fast. And Brett Bennett was surprisingly, competing for wins and competing for the lead in these races, as well as Brian Smith. But he was a surprise. I was definitely surprised with him being so consistent and the amount of speed that he showed. So he's someone to keep an eye out for this season. I don't know if he's probably gonna be competing for the championship like we saw there in the preseason races, but he's definitely not gonna be just running around in the back.
Absolutely, I don't disagree. What do you think, Josh? He was second in our practice session a little bit ago, and he runs in the third position right now in quali.
I'm gonna be honest. I never really thought of Brett Bennett as a road racer, but seeing that he is sitting P3 right now on the boards, is pretty good in practice, and seeing how well he was doing in the preseason races as well, I think he's definitely set himself up, or at least it's looking like he's going to have a really great season, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he is able to do. Maybe even collect a couple of wins down the stretch. If not, maybe score one tonight. But definitely looking forward to seeing how how he's going to get around the track in these cars.
Someone I'm looking at right now, and they're actually in danger of not making the race. I believe, if I'm understanding these rules correctly, Shane O'Neill has not run a lap fast enough yet to be able to run the race. His fastest lap in practice was a 131, and I believe he needs to run a 128.5 in order to be safe and be able to run this race. So he's someone I'm looking at. I've seen him, make a few errors here and there, but just I'm interested to see if he's going to be able to make that cutoff point.
No, you're absolutely right, Alonso. That is a rule he implemented into the Your Weekend Warrior Formula Ford series. It's like the FIA rules and all the way up through the ladder that Formula One implements, and you have to run 107% the speed of the fastest car right now, and that's Arian Siciliano, who's got a 122 on the board, 1 minute 22 seconds. So yeah, you're right about the 128 bracket for tonight's qualifier. So it's gonna be very tough if Shane O'Neill can make the race tonight.
Right now we're looking at Aaron Siciliano, who does have the fastest lap right now in qualifying and in practice. You know, he's showing that he has a speed. I've seen him make a few mistakes, so we'll see if he has the consistency to be able to put a whole race together. But the speed is there. I think he probably doesn't need to be as fast as he's shown to be in order to probably be contending for the win. But as long as he can manage about 20 minutes worth of clean racing together, I feel like he'll be all right.
Speak of 20 minutes of racing, we're about there, getting ready for this first race tonight. 20 minutes in both events.
Yeah, 20 minutes, doesn't sound like a lot of time, but I promise when you're out there racing, kind of feels like forever after a little while. That clock starts to count down slower and slower by each passing minute, especially because, again, this is not an easy track, and these laps, they take a little while to go around, and so these 20 minutes are definitely not going to be easy, as we see, Cam Caldwell right there make a mistake. I feel like it's probably, you're going to see a lot of that here tonight. It's going to be one of these races where the people that make the least amount of mistakes are the ones that are going to rack up a nice amount of points here.
Going back to the 91's issue, he did not make a lap faster than a 128-second bracket mark. He ran a fastest lap of a 133.3, and he has been asked to stay off the racetrack tonight. That's unfortunate for him. He ran 8 laps, only 2 of them were valid, so that's unfortunate tonight. Nick Dornick, of course, implementing the rules tonight, though, but very unfortunate with how many cars we get to show up, Alonso, but that is the rule, of course, in place.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I mean, as we don't see the big field that we usually see here in the trucks, but this racing, it's still going to be intense, even with about, I think 9 drivers here tonight that we're going to have racing. It's a shame that Shane didn't meet the minimum required lap time, but hey, there's always next week, and if I were out there, I probably wouldn't have been doing much better than he was. So, trust me, guys. This
Agreed.
this is not as easy as it looks. Is putting down that like a 122.7 like by Aaron. That's pretty impressive. I'll tell you that.
And I'm actually, a racer in this series, and I was not looking forward to this one. I'm just never, never been really good at turning laps at this track, and I couldn't imagine just trying to do it for 20 minutes straight. So.
As we are here on the grid, guys, last minute update, Dalton Kelly has loaded out of the session. Connection issue dropped. So he was the preseason favorite too, along with his teammate Brett Bennett. The SBOD cars were pretty stout at Homestead, Miami, notably in the preseason races. So it's unfortunate for him. He had a good practice lap and qualifying showing too.
Yeah, you did. That's really unfortunate. Hopefully, you can be back here and make it in time for the feature. I don't know if they will allow that, but hopefully they do. They're green now, so we're racing.
Here, Aaron Siciliano leads the field into the Andretti hairpin for the first lap. They're 3 abreast behind for P2, but it's Brett Bennett up to second.
Yeah, you see Aaron there taking a decent lead. They were too wide behind him. Now the 47 is clear. Brett Bennett takes second place.
Oh, Aaron Siciliano off the track just a little bit there off of turn 2 going into 3. Able to keep a good lead. He had a 1-second advantage in qualifying, guys, over Cameron Caldwell, who fell to third on that initial start.
Yeah, you see just tiny mistake there. However, he is pretty quickly building his lead. But he did mention Cam Caldwell. Oh, who is off the track now. That's unfortunate. He had a really good start to the race, but that was a big mistake there. It cost him a lot of time.
Here we see the battle for third. It is really heated up. Kruger starting to pull away.
We see Craig Fryer making a move on the bottom there. Looks like he didn't quite get the run off.
It's going to be Daniel Cipoliowski going to be holding him off. Yeah, there, Alonso.
Yeah.
Back to Cameron Caldwell. He is going to be able to keep up with the pack. His mistake going up the Rahal straight really derailed him there.
Well, we'll be able to see how easy it is that he can make it through the field here. I'm not quite sure that it's going to be too easy to make these passes, but he has shown top 5 speed, so I believe as long as he can keep it within the track limits here, he should be back in the top 5 before this heat is through, as we see him take over at least one position there.
Real quick up front, it's Aaron Siciliano with a 2.2 second lead after just one lap, and he's continuing to pull away as he goes into the corkscrew for the second time. We saw Dalton Kelly return to the track. He is, of course, a lap down. He was able to load back in, but he's going to be able to fight
Dalton Kelly's
one lap
sorry.
down. Yeah, Alonso mentioned he spun, trying to get some track time in here before the second race.
Dalton Kelly just spun around, but he's back going now. He is in 8th, since he was able to make it back, but he's quite behind. I believe he's a lap down, actually.
Well, Josh, one driver that's a big surprise running up as well as they are, I think. We saw him have a little bit of success glimpses in the preseason races, but hopefully he can put a full showing here tonight. Early on lap 3, Michael Kruger in that 14 car running in a podium spot. What do you think he's doing right now tonight?
I think Kruger's just going to take it easy. we did see, I believe it was Charlotte Roval race in the Independence News Truck Series where he was running pretty well. Now, I know it's already been mentioned kind of how these are hard to drive. They're not like the trucks at all. If you pay attention to that series, but he does know how to race around a road course. A little bit off track there, but I think he's just going to take it easy and see where he can get.
Yeah, I'm definitely got a few flashbacks, a little bit of PTSD when you mentioned Michael Kruger and the Charlotte Road Course and the trucks. But yeah, he is a pretty good racer. He did well in that race. If you don't, let's not bring up his little incident that he had with Pete. But besides that, typically a pretty clean driver, and we saw him make that little mistake there. But he is doing pretty solid right now, still holding that P3 position. Cameron Caldwell's around now.
Yeah, he has trouble in the Andretti hairpins, turn number 2, that is. He's back going, but it looks like he spun out momentarily.
Sometimes when you make one mistake, you fall a little bit behind, and you're trying to do a little bit too much to try to catch back up, and that just leads to more and more mistakes. So it's easy to get yourself into that, kind of ritual of just pushing.
Oh, Aaron Siciliano's around in the corkscrew. The 86 spun out in turns 8 and 8A. He's back going, but he's going to drop at least 2 positions now. As Brian Smith goes by. 4 positions. He's way down the running order.
Good to see if I can get a look back at the replay there, Adam.
It looks like he just got hot into A and completely missed the corner and spun the entire way down the hill and had to correct it to get back going, guys. One of the trickiest corners, of course, in all of motorsport, I believe.
Yeah, and he was lucky that he had that big gap, because you just saw right there in the replay he was facing.
He's racing Brian Smith.
hill.
Excuse me. Continue, Alonso. Sorry.
No, you're good. He was facing the top of that hill there. Thankfully, he had a big enough gap so that nobody was coming. But if someone was, they would have had quite the surprise of facing Aaron right there in that blind corner.
Oh, absolutely. We saw in the IndyCar race last year, I believe, Scott Dixon got hit right there, just doing the same thing. But like you mentioned, luckily he had a big enough lead. Nothing happened damage-wise, and Brett Bennett has taken advantage of it. He's got a lead of 3.5 seconds over Mikey Kruger now.
Oh, speaking of Michael Kruger.
He's around.
Same spot. And he was lucky not to get hit there because there were a lot of fast cars flying coming to turn 9. Right there, rainy curve.
Yeah, that corner, it is not easy. There's a reason why it's, I would guess, a little bit infamous of just so many drivers making mistakes there. That elevation change just really upsets the car, especially if you're just pressing on that throttle just a little bit too much.
Well, with all that, Aaron Siciliano's back up to P2. He was racing Brian Smith last lap, and it got a little hairy. Didn't mean to interrupt you, Alonso, but now he has gapped the 54 completely and trying to hunt down Brett Bennett, who has assumed the race lead, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was easy. All those mistakes right there just made it pretty simple for him to get back into P2. Now it's not gonna be too easy, but he's about 5 seconds behind from Brett Bennett, so it might take a little bit of time to hunt him back down.
Just halfway into this race.
Just halfway, and already so much has happened here.
There is a battle going on right now between Mikey Kruger and Craig Fryer. Michael trying to recover after that spin, of course. Now he's in that same spot on the track, turn 9. Bounced that curve a little bit too much, but right in the tire track of Craig Fry, who's not quite up on pace today, but he's just trying to gain laps, of course. I believe one of his first Formula races on the service. Wouldn't be surprising in the league setting, of course.
Yeah, just a quick update on Dalton Kelly sitting in the pits. So I believe I don't know if he's done for the night. Hopefully he'll be back for the feature, but he's at least done for this heat. It seems like.
Yeah, Kelly parked it when his teammate Brett Bennett took over the race lead, and he was about to lose a lap, so I wonder if that had something to do with it. Why we have action on the track, Michael Kruger trying to get around Craig Fryer.
Yeah, they're too wide right now, and I don't want to look away from this. Well, now that Michael is able to clear and make the pass, Aaron Siciliano has cut down that 5-second lead to just 2 seconds, and that was a very short amount of time. He is making up a lot of time on Brett Bennett. Just so quick right now on this track.
Let's take a lap. Sorry there, Adam. Let's take a lap just watching from this view of Aaron Siciliano trying to catch Brett Bennett.
Then you see here kind of hugging the inside, but then goes wide to get a good entrance here into turn 1, which has that tricky double apex. And you can just see
A little loose in 2 and 3.
a little loose, but a little loose can be pretty fast too.
Oh, especially when the car in front goes wide.
Yeah, he's just hunting down Brett Bennett right now, eating up at that lap time so quick. He's already pretty much on his back bumper.
Going up the hill to turn 6, and then they're going to be climbing the Rahal Straight, going into 7 and 8 where the corkscrew lies. Could be a very challenging opportunity for him to pass, of course, where he spun out in the first place.
Yeah, we'll see here. He gains a lot of time on entry.
And grab a fly off the rear wing of the 47.
Yeah,
oh!
Almost gets right next to him. Gets a little bit of that dirt on his tires, but he just makes up so much time on corner entry.
Siciliano is there with Brett Bennett. Bennett, I think, is really taking the conservative drive right now. He does not want to make a mistake.
Well, I think he probably knows that Aaron is quicker than him, and I think he'd probably be okay with just taking, a decent amount of points here and getting off to a good start to the season. But yeah, I mean, you see them make some mistakes here and there, but like you've said, pretty consistent.
Aaron Siciliano's best lap in this race is a 1.5 seconds faster than Brett Bennett's, and that lap was set 2 laps ago when Aaron was in the dirty air with Brett chasing him down. He's got an attack here in turn 9, can't make it work. In 10, here he goes, he's diving into turn 11, but he's going to think better of it, guys. He's been poking that nose out, but thinking better of it the last couple laps. Coming to 5 minutes remaining in this race.
Yeah, just think he's just trying to play it smart, He doesn't want to make contact with Brett, doesn't want to ruin his race. Just wants to show him that he's there, Just wants to maybe scare him a little bit, see if he makes a mistake.
And maybe do that.
Yep, Brett Bennett goes wide and gives him the easy pass. We'll see if Brett Bennett can challenge here, but no, doesn't quite have enough of advantage there, and Aaron takes back the lead.
Gave him the lane, but Josh, you didn't really force the issue, but did Brett Bennett, and there goes Aaron Siciliano back to the lead.
Yep.
It looked like Siciliano might have gotten into dirt just a little bit. We know Siciliano is fast, but is he pressing the issue just a little bit too much?
Well, that's where all the speed is, Josh.
Well, Michael Kruger's around. He almost took out Craig Byers, it seems like. He's able to regather now. He went around that corner. I think he just didn't slow down enough.
Oh yeah, came in way too high into turn 5. And he was lucky to not back it into that barrier there.
Yeah. Just heard screeching tires, and I look up, and it's Michael Kruger going around.
Oh, Brett Bennett almost lost it off of turn 11. Lit the rear tires up trying to get the power down. He was keeping Aaron Siciliano very close, like about a second up the road, and that completely ruined the gap there. Going to be a big lead for Siciliano going into turn 2 now.
Well, Craig Fryer's also around, so he gives up 5th place. Cameron Caldwell now up to 5th. Craig is probably going to fall back to 7th here. Oh,
Caldwell.
Caldwell, and also so many drivers making mistakes right now. You just saw Craig, Cam, and also Kruger.
Brett Bennett back with the
there.
lead, guys.
It's just been so much. It's hard to keep up. So much action around this track.
Brian Smith has also spun.
I think the tires are really lit up right now for these guys. It appears that Dalton Kelly, more issues.
Kelly had just returned to the racetrack, but I can't quite find out what happened to Siciliano, how he lost the lead.
We do have a battle. Big time for the lead right now. Siciliano right there, still with Brett Bennett, despite Bennett taking the lead over.
Oh, he hopped the corkscrew last lap completely and missed 8A. Almost wiped out in 9, but he was able to keep it undamaged. But like you mentioned, Josh, they are still nose to tail for the race lead going up the hill into turn 7.
Brett Bennett feeling the pressure big time. He just needs to stay cool, calm, and collected. Try not to make a mistake, and maybe Aaron forces the issue a little bit too much.
Oh, that's not smooth by Brett through the corkscrew, but it's just going to be good enough. He's got a minute and 10 seconds left in this race. That's about a lap to go here. They're coming to the white flag at Laguna Seca with the 86 stuffed under the 47's rear diffuser. 50 seconds remain in the race. 1 lap to go, guys. What do you think is going to happen here as they dive into turn 2? The Andretti hairpin, all for stake here. This is where Brett lost the lead last time.
And it looks like we might have a case of deja vu. Not quite. I think it's not going to be quite as easy this time around. Brett does not make it easy for Aaron.
He showed the muscle.
This time, yeah.
Oh, diving into turn 3 though, he's going to stuff the front wing, in there. There's door to door going into turn 5.
Side by side. Nobody is getting
Oh,
up.
Aaron got they both spin. Aaron got the gravel, spun out, and Brett just lost it, driving it in deep.
Now they're both going straight.
Third place is Michael Kruger. He just took the white flag. He's racing Cameron Caldwell. What just happened?
Michael Kruger had just pit the lap before this to get fresh tires, and now all of a sudden he's made up so much time with these two spun around. But
Daniel Saponsky is actually the third place car who is right here with these guys.
Yeah. Saponsky is right here. It wasn't Kruger. It's Saponsky right here on the rear wing of the 86. But it doesn't matter because this is going to be a fight for P2 because Brett Bennett is gone if he can keep it straight. Through turn 10, coming to turn 11, the 86 all over the curbing, but it's not going to matter. The 47 smooth through here. He is indeed Brett Bennett. What a wacky race with the tire dag, but he's going to win number 1 of the 2022 Formula 4 season.
He showed his speed all throughout preseason and just continues to show it here in the first race, taking the win in the first heat of the season after just such an exciting race. So many people spinning out. And once again, I just believe it was the guy that is able to make the least amount of mistakes and just able to capitalize in the end.
Yeah, guys, I think they are still going. I believe this is the last lap right here. Siciliano is not gone anywhere. He is caught up to Brett Bennett. Brett not giving much room to Siciliano at all, trying to defend. They're now going to go through the corkscrew. Scariest part.
Siciliano got the dirt. He kicked it up, but he's kept it between the lines, something he hasn't done a couple times this race, but he's going to dive it into the rainy curve. Here we go into turn 10. Maybe this is the checkered flag this time. Wow, Siciliano got the apex. Bennett did not. Into turn 11 for the final time. A lot closer this time on the curb because Siciliano wide on exit. Not going to matter. Brett Bennett by a car length. This time he does it, maybe. It looked like the flagman waved something there.
Yeah, I do believe that actually is the checkered flag, so congratulations, Brett Bennett, on that heat win. That was something.
It was an insane race with all the spins from the tire degradation and of course, the confusion there at the end. But wow, what a win for SPOD! Shout out to Andrew Elias, of course.
There's just so much going on there in the end. It was hard to keep track.
Brett Bennett's doing donuts in the sandpit now. Well, it looks like right now the unofficial results is Brett Bennett with the race win. Aaron Siciliano, of course, second by 0.164 seconds, and then Daniel Sabansky in third. Fourth is going to be Dalton Kelly. Fifth was no, that's not right. Fourth was Brian Smith. And fifth was Michael Kruger. Sixth, Cameron Caldwell. Craig Fryer, seventh. Dalton Kelly, eighth.
Yeah, well, now we have 20-minute warm up. In the meantime, we'll probably get some interviews in and get to talk about that spectacular heat race we just saw.
I believe, Josh, you were with Daniel.
Hey, Daniel, third place finish. Came pretty close there at the end of that. They both spun out and got right up in the mix. So, what was it like there for you?
I didn't expect to finish third at all. I expected to just try to keep the car on the track and not spin out. And that's pretty much what I did, and everybody else had problems around me, so I kind of just took the safe route during the race and got a good finish for it. I did not expect the leaders to crash like that or spin out ahead of me. I didn't have anything for them. I was hoping they would get together and do it again. But if third is all I got, I'm happy with that.
So, what did you learn there during that race that is what you could use leading into the race coming up, the second race?
Well, I only ran a couple laps of practice. I ran one lap of qualifying, so I basically used the first race as my practice session because I do better in race conditions than I do like during practice. So I learned a lot of good corners where I can enter harder than I thought, and pretty much going to take the same strategy into the second race and just try to be clean and see what I get out of it.
All right. Well, who do you got to thank for that third place finish in that first race?
I have to thank Brian C. Smith for being my teammate and spinning out and giving me third place because I would have finished fourth otherwise. And Logitech for making my steering wheel, and Thrustmaster for making my pedals.
All right, well, congrats on the third place run, and maybe we'll talk to you again here after the second one.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
And that was your third place finisher, Daniel Saponsky. And we're going to go to Alonzo Chicano, who has Aaron.
Aaron, you got us, buddy? Aaron, how you doing, man? Well,
You're doing.
we had an eye on you all throughout practice qualifying. You showed tons of speed. However, a few mistakes there. In the end, just probably ran out of time to get back around the first place car and walked away with P2 for the heat. How do you feel after that?
After self-spinning at least, 3 times, yeah, I'm pretty happy to have a P2. I have learned that I do not want to be behind Brett because it is very hard to get by him safely, and he likes to race aggressively, which was a lot of fun. So I just got to make sure that I don't let him by me again.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely very exciting seeing both of you guys race. However, it seemed like you both kept it clean, which is always nice. It also seemed like everyone was just really having a hard time with managing their tires in the end of the race. How are you gonna go into this main feature here when it comes to saving your tires for the end? Are you gonna race any differently? Are you gonna take it slower in the end, or do you feel like it's a non-issue going into it?
That should have been the easier race where I was able to run my own race and manage the tires however I wanted. And I screwed that up. Now I'm going to have to try and do some crazy stuff to get by some people and not wreck. And I'm sure my tires are going to be much worse. The first self spin I had, I actually got distracted in the corkscrew, self spun, and then the second time I actually locked up a tire and just had to abort. And that was just tire management. I didn't take it seriously enough, and I don't know how I'm going to for the next race.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that here for the feature. Who do you have to thank who gets it done here for you and lets you race for us?
I guess it's going to be Nick. It's always Nick. Nick is the one that gets me out to come race with you guys, so I got to thank Nick.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to come here for the interview. Best of luck here in this feature, and hope to hear from you soon.
Thanks.
All right. That was our second place finisher for the heat. Now, I believe Adam is caught up with Brett Bennett. We're going to bring him in.
Yeah, hey Brett, you got a copy?
Yep, I'm here.
Well, that was a pretty exciting race, pretty thrilling finish there, racing Aaron for that win. First off, what did you think when you took the lead after he spun out the first time?
I knew he'd be coming back at me. He definitely, in terms of pace, I had nothing for him. He was probably about a second a lap quicker than me. And so I knew he'd be coming back, and then I thought maybe if I just kept running clean laps, I could keep in front, but then from then on, I made a couple just not major mistakes, but just minor mistakes, running a little wide, missing apexes, getting a little bit sideways, and just costing myself time. And I would look at the deficit and see him reeling me in. So it was definitely intense.
So what do you think about this race with the field invert starting from shotgun here?
I mean, I'm going to try to come from the back. I mean, it's going to be being patient more than anything. I definitely am not thinking I'm going to have a great chance at winning this one, but we'll see what we can do. Hopefully, get a good finish. Keep building for the season-long championship. Yeah, it'll be interesting seeing Aaron, and I'll mainly try to follow Aaron through the field because I think he's going to be carving his way through.
Of course, who do you have to shout out after that performance there in that first 20-minute feature tonight?
Well, I'll have SBLD, my bus buddies, Dawson, Brian, Danny, Dalton, Shane, Oscar, Toasty. I'm probably blanking on half our team right now. Jeffrey. We got too many members. whoever I'm forgetting to mention right now. Oh, Tyler. Yeah, but Aaron for that racing me clean there. I think if he really wanted to, he could have dive bombed me a couple times, and he didn't. So that was nice. I'd like to thank Joseph Strigley, my sponsor. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, congratulations again. We look forward to seeing you try and get all the way back up through the field here in this next 20 minutes.
Yep, hopefully I can. Hope I talk to you again.
Absolutely. Good luck, Brett.
Thank you.
That was the 47 Brett Bennett race winner tonight from the first 20-minute race here at Laguna Seca. Well, guys, we talked about it already, and of course with the driver interviews. How was that first race? Did it live up to the expectations of the Formula Floret season?
Yeah, that was definitely quite something. All right. I think we probably are gonna get some not too different from that here in this feature. We have, I believe, another 20 minutes here coming up, and that's just enough time for an equal amount of action.
Yeah, I think that race was, pretty exciting as well. Great start to the season for sure. A lot of action. I don't think there wasn't a driver that didn't make a mistake. Very unpredictable, and great win out of somebody that I don't really think any of us were expecting to see win this one. I said it earlier, in pre-race. I think Brett Bennett's going to win a couple of them. He took the win there. I wasn't so sure that tonight would be the night, but he might be able to sweep the night, take the win here in this next 20-minute race.
Well, we also heard Aaron say that he wasn't gonna let Brett to get back around him, so there is that to look out for. I feel like Aaron is probably gonna be more aggressive to get around him. Probably not gonna give him as much room this time if we do see that happen. So we'll see. We'll see if these guys have been playing pretty nice so far, but that only goes, eventually all that patience is gonna wear thin.
Yeah, of course you mentioned this because it's going to be a full field invert. The field's going to be flipped out around, and last place is going to start first. It's going to be Dalton Kelly. That's going to happen here in about 9.5 minutes or 8.5 minutes time for race number 2 tonight. But Josh, let's look at the season schedule real quick while we have a little bit of downtime here. The intermission warm-up.
Yeah, pretty awesome schedule. These guys are not racing every week either, so lots of time for these guys to practice. But you see there on the screen our schedule, of course, tonight, September 1st, Laguna Seca. Really, really fun track that I really wish I knew how to drive a lot better than what I do, because I'd love to be having fun out there with these guys. But great schedule. I applaud Nick and Cam and all the admins behind the scenes. Nick Nick Dornick, of course, first of all, getting the series going. But yeah, Adam, I'll let you talk a little bit about the schedule.
Well, in 2 weeks' time, we return for another doubleheader, of course. All the races are going to be set up like this, of course, where we get back-to-back races, 20 minutes apiece. That's going to be at the Auto Club Speedway motorcycle, the moto course, at least on the iRacing service, the motorcycle track. Then another 2 weeks, we're going to be Summit Point, which is an open wheel track. I'm not too familiar with that at all, so that's going to be very unique, of course. Very low ranking though track, I believe, though, in terms of the iRacing service, right, guys? Wouldn't you say, in terms of road racing?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not too familiar at all with that track, so it'll be interesting to go there. I'll be paying a little bit extra time and attention during practice to see, the lines that people are using, and it'll be interesting to learn more about the track because we, have zero experience with it really.
And by low ranking, I mean, I worded that poorly. I mean, lower class. And of course, after that, we go to the Daytona Road Course, which is going to be something different entirely. I think that's going to be a lot of drafting on the banking, of course, and it's just going to be chaotic when they flood onto the banking from the infield course and dive into the bus stop. That's going to be a show, I think. And then Lime Rock Park, the GP circuit, that was petitioned to be onto the schedule. Alonzo, what do you think about that racetrack?
I personally love Lime Rock Park. That's gonna be one of the races where I'm gonna try to actually uh, race in because I actually know that track. So I love Lime Rock. It is so much fun. I do not think I'm going to be competing for a win. However, I feel more confident going into this track just because I've done a few races with other cars here, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I can be in the field and get it, some laps in with these guys and compete here with them. It'll be fun. I think it's gonna be a good one. Uh, there's a few parts of the track that it's not a very wide one, so it's very technical and yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And then right after that, we go a couple weeks, 2 weeks later, we go to Road America, which is huge track for these type of cars, but it's classic Formula schooling track, so it's going to be very fun to see these guys try and wrangle these cars around that track. A lot of horsepower, like we mentioned, and they're going to take full advantage around that 4 mile beast there. And then Josh, a couple weeks after that, 3 weeks after that, actually, after a little bit of a break, is Watkins Glen on the short layout, the NASCAR layout. How do you think these cars are going to race around the short track there?
Well, I'll tell you what, Watkins Glen, first of all, is an absolute blast. Anyway, um, it is a faster road course. And, talking about when you were talking about the Daytona road course and the draft there, how that's going to play. No, Watkins Glen is not as big as the Daytona road course, not as long of straightaways. But you're still going to have a lot of draft. And with them using the cup layout, one of the biggest things these guys are going to have to watch out for is getting into that bus stop. These cars, being road course cars, they're a lot easier to get on the brakes than, say, a cup car, but you still got to be so careful at how you attack getting into that bus stop down the back straightaway because there is a lot of speed that you can carry into it. A little bit of a mistake, especially with how tight that is, could really ruin your car and your race.
Absolutely, I agree everything there. That's going to be quite a show. Then we go to a couple weeks after that is going to be the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, which is going to be something else completely, I think, because that is definitely not an open wheel track. It used to be back in the day, but I think they stopped going there for a reason, got really dangerous. But these cars obviously going to be slow enough. I think that won't be an issue where we have a ton of wrecks, but it's going to be very fun with the tire degradation, much like this track, I believe. Then Alonso, Charlotte Roval, which is going to be a very tight track, I think, with these cars.
Yeah, one thing I'll say is, watch out for the turtles. You're gonna want to miss those. And Charlotte Roval is a fun track. However, it's gonna be interesting seeing some open wheel cars on on the Charlotte Roval, which is is more so meant to have uh, stock cars racing around there. But I feel like it'll be an interesting show. We'll see how delicate these cars are around those big turtles. We'll see if that plays into effect. Another fast track where you get on those high banks and you can draft around and get a lot of speed in.
Yeah, absolutely. We only got a couple minutes left here in this warm-up, so we're going to go through the last few races on the schedule really quick. We got the Homestead Road Course, Layout A again. We ran there in the preseason. That was quite a show when the drivers could actually see. I think we're going to resolve that issue with the time of day racing there when we return in January, which is going to be, I think, an exciting race. The Watkins Glen returns in February for the boot layout, which is going to be very fun with these Formula cars, I think. Wide open there in the toe, I think is going to be very unique, and it's going to be a different way of covering a race at Watkins Glen from any of us, the way we've seen it, I believe. And then we're going to end off the season at Road Atlanta real quick. What do you guys think about Petit Le Mans layout there at Road Atlanta and the way we're going to end the season up there with these cars?
I mean, it's a classic road track. I think it's gonna be perfect for these cars. It's gonna be really interesting. We'll see. And by then, it being the last race of the schedule, with the added excitement of hopefully, a tight points battle, maybe there'll be tons of things to look out for.
Yeah, I'm not really sure much about Road Atlanta. Not being a road course guy myself, I don't know if I've ever actually turned a lap there in iRacing or any video games when I played a lot of video games on consoles. But, I think the history behind that track, I do believe that it's going to be a great show. And kind of like what Alonso was saying, it's a close points battle. I think we'd all be in for a great treat there. Finish out the season.
All right, here we go. We are on the grid for race number 2 tonight for the 2022 Formula Ford season, the inaugural season. Race number 2 at Laguna Seca, getting ready to start off tonight. Dalton Kelly on the pole, of course, for the invert. He's got Carl Felver alongside of him. Then Cameron Caldwell in third, and Michael Kruger, I believe, in fourth. Actually, yeah, that is correct, I believe. Michael Kruger was the only one to take time, though, in that warm-up, that 20-minute warm-up he had. He shaved an entire second down from his practice lap.
I think the biggest question here is going to be, can Aaron make it through the field, be clean, and make their way all the way up to first? We're going green.
They are away, and we are launched. Dalton Kelly on the outside of the grid is going to lead them into turn 1 and down to turn 2 for the Andretti hairpin. He's wide, giving a lane to Cam Caldwell. He doesn't take it. Kruger backs out, thinks better of it. They were 3 wide for a moment. Caldwell almost went from second to the lead, but can't quite do it. It's going to be Dalton Kelly with a big launch. Oh, actually,
Yeah.
Dalton Kelly fell way back.
We'll see all the way in the back there. Keeping an eye on that purple car. We see him, taking his time. Oh, we got someone in the wall. It's Dalton Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly dropped a ton of positions, and he looped it off of turn 3 and got into the barrier. That's the first wall contact we've seen tonight.
Yeah, I think he probably got a decent amount of damage from that.
It was Craig Fryer who had the inside pole. He stole the lead, and Kelly was
Now we have
offline, of course.
Brian's around.
So is Aaron Siciliano saves it out of getting into the wall. Great job out of him.
They go nose to tail, 4 piece through turns 8, 9. That's the. Sorry to cut you off, guys. That's the corkscrew and rainy curve, but they make it sorted out. It's gonna be Carl Felver leading. He goes off though in turn 10. And it's gonna be Michael Kruger to the lead in 11. Here comes Cameron Caldwell fighting for P2.
Yeah, first of all, just good job for everyone who was able to give it off the wall. Just once again, right back at it. As soon as this race started, so much going on, so many things to look out for. Not that many cars out here, but yet still, we're having a hard time keeping up with everything that's going on. There's only about 8 cars out here, and still, just so much action, so tightly packed here in this track.
I thought I was Smoke trying to watch the star on the helicopter view, and I just confused myself on who was who. But up front, it is Michael Kruger leading Cameron Caldwell, who's up to second, and then Danny Sabanski back on the podium in P3 right now.
And here we're looking at Cameron Caldwell trying to make his way up to Michael Kruger.
Oh, Kruger goes off in the corkscrew. He keeps it going the right direction, and Sabanski goes off on exit.
Wow.
Brad Bennett just had issues.
Siciliano into third.
Brad Bennett had issues. He had to tow it back to pit road.
Oh man, not from.
Now Aaron's around. He saves it though. Aaron was able to save it. Now he's going back straight. Everyone's just having issues. We were talking about how, this is gonna play an effect because you keep spinning out, man. Those tires, they are not gonna go easy on you.
Look back at what happened to Brett Bennett. Sorry to cut you off there, Alonso. He got loose in the corkscrew too, and the right rear tire got into the tire bundle, and there was game over. The toe was completely out on that car. He was just following everyone in line, and he went off the same exact time Danny spun out, and there was Craig Fire, went off right ahead of him going up the Wayhaw Straight, so it was just all a mess there.
And now we see a battle here with Mikey and Cameron Caldwell. I'm surprised you don't really see. You have someone else off track now. It looks like it's Craig Fryer. He keeps it straight, but I'm surprised. Some of these drivers, their skill levels are quite high, and I'm surprised we're seeing so many mistakes. It's bound to happen, but the amount that we've seen just so quickly is quite surprising. That tells me just how hard, as we're looking at, Cameron Caldwell gets squirrely. That tells me just how hard these cars are to drive on this track. Again, with the elevation changes and just the amount of instant power that you have with these cars getting so light, especially on top of the hill. It is super easy to get these cars spinning around.
Saw in turn 2, Michael Kruger was abusing the curb there, just trying everything to keep Cameron Caldwell in his sights. It's about a 4/10 of a second lead between Caldwell and Kruger at the line last time by. We're 6 minutes complete, 4 laps down in this race number 2 here tonight, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. What a start, guys, and we have seen Dalton Kelly with that wall impact on lap 1. He went to the pits. He is back out, but 1 lap down, and Brett Bennett, like you guys mentioned, went to the pits and towed. He is back on the track just ahead of these guys.
Oh, Kruger!
Michael Kruger, what a save.
Kruger, been watching before we went live even.
Wow, that was a save. I just looked back at it, yeah.
Before we even went live and watching Michael Kruger, and he was really struggling getting through the corkscrew. I know a lot of the drivers were in practice. I've noticed, you know, in the qualifying and the past race that we saw as well, Kruger still having issues with the corkscrew. And, of course, we saw once again another issue in the corkscrew for Kruger. I think if Kruger can just settle down in that area, try to not overdrive it, you might be able to catch Cameron Caldwell. Of course, for those of you who may just be joining us, one thing we do know about Cameron Caldwell, at least in stock cars, or stock trucks rather, he is, I guess you could say, the king at road courses. Currently leading right here is at number 12. And made some mistakes in that first race. He's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, he is. We'll see if he can capitalize that with that good starting position. Has obviously great, track position right now. We'll see if he can minimize those mistakes and be able to hold on for the win here. He wasn't the fastest that first race, but I'm telling you, man, if he can just make the least amount of mistakes, will have a really, really solid chance at winning this race. And, look at that shot right there. You can see that elevation change. I mean, I just want to tell the people that are watching right now, if you want to know what it feels like, it's almost kind of like when you're on a roller coaster and, you reach the top of that hill and you start to go down. That's probably what it kind of feels like when you're on top of that corkscrew heading into that blind corner. I mean, your whole body just gets lifted and the whole car just gets lifted, and the amount of traction that you have on those tires, it is minimal. And so when you just jam on that throttle, you're just spinning those tires, and it makes the car so easy to just get around, just because you're pretty much lifting the whole car off of the ground right there. As you can see, just that elevation change going into that blind corner. It's just, this whole track is just one big roller coaster in these cars.
It really is, and I've driven this track, tried to in iRacing. Once again, going to go back to talking about driving this track in video games. As well, different games on console, and you do just get the sense of the elevation change. I just could not imagine drivers doing this in real life. See Kruger try and get around the outside, not able to, and shuffles back
We've
in
had
line.
a crash in the corkscrew. Aaron Siciliano got into Danny Sapansky, and he is wrecked at the top of the hill, and Siciliano spun out himself going down the hill, but the 51 was stuck in the gravel. He had a broken left rear, I believe, after wall contact. He had a toe, and he is pretty upset in the race chat. Just devastated, it sounds like. He was on the podium position, P3 in the first race, and that's going to be very costly in the points standings, as he is presumed to be a full-season driver.
Yeah, I was able to look at
Aaron
that.
Siciliano's down pit road now, too.
I was able to look at the replay. It just looks like him and I believe it was 51 who got together, right, Adam?
Yes.
Yeah, it was just I don't know, it just seems like a little bit of just mistiming from Aaron. He just, again, he's been making up so much time entering these corners compared to these other drivers, and I guess I believe it was just Daniel just broke a little bit earlier than Aaron was probably expecting, and they just got together. It's kind of a racing deal. It sucks that you have two fast drivers that have to take away so much time and go into the pits here. Josh, I'm sorry, Adam, didn't mean to interrupt. Josh, I know Michael he was racing as we see him take a little
That
bit, a
timing.
little trip. Yeah. Yeah, Josh. We know you have a connection with Michael. With him, he's raced for you in the trucks, and I just want to ask you, from an owner's perspective, just seeing, a driver who was racing for you in second place, hunting down first place. What goes through your mind? Are you kind of nervous, just hoping that he doesn't, uh, get too excited and make a mistake trying to hunt down the leader, or what goes through your mind in these kinds of moments right here?
Right here, it is tough because Kruger is one of my drivers, and Cam has been a really good friend for longer than I've known Kruger. So it is tough. So I'm going to kind of base your question off as if it wasn't Cam in the lead here, as Kruger trying to get around Caldwell there, but and just some other guy. Yeah, I want Kruger to go up there and win, but if he's not able to, I just want Kruger to hold on to it. Finish where he is. Don't make mistakes, don't lose positions, and really he's got a long ways back to third place, which is actually going to be Brian C. Smith, and it's all because of all the other mistakes. Right here, the reason why we keep looking at these guys is because this is the only battle going on track. But, kind of got away from your question. So, for Kruger, I just want him to not make mistakes and try to go for the win. But if he can't go for the win, second place is still a really, really great place to finish. I don't want you wrecking the car trying to get a win, but I want you to go for it. So right here it's a little bit tough because I want to see Cam do good. I want to see Cam go and win, but like I said, one of my drivers right behind him. It's definitely tough.
Yeah, I do have an update. I'm sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
No, go ahead with your update, Alonzo.
Yeah, just Race Control did investigate the incident between the 86 and the 51, and according to Race Control, it was just net code, so no further actions from that. So just wanted to update you guys real quick on that incident from Race Control.
No, absolutely. I wanted to get that too. That was, I believe, the right call from Race Control. It did look like some kind of issue absolutely there. Netcode, I believe, would be the right call from Nick Dornick and Race Control. No further action, like you said. So we see this battle for the lead, like you mentioned, Josh. They are just all over the place right now, trying not to make mistakes, but the pressure is on. Coming to about 15 minutes complete here, 5 minutes remaining. They've got 9 laps in the bag. The tires are at the complete worst right now, as we see Caldwell lock him up going through the corkscrew, of course. Last time down the front straightaway, he was weaving, trying to break the draft to Kruger, who was right on his gearbox going up the front straightaway.
Yeah, you definitely can sense that pressure that Cameron Caldwell is feeling. He's been so clean, just so consistent, and that's probably the first mistake I've seen from him in a while. It's just locking up those tires, but that can be a big deal, just because we've seen tires make a difference. So I would say, if I were Michael, I would just hold your position. I don't think dirty air is going to affect him too much. Oh, never mind. He goes around. Keeps it off the wall. However,
he's got a 20-second gap back to Brian Smith for the last place on the podium. He's back going. There's Danny Spansky lapped down to the race leaders. That is very unfortunate. He was right there on Cameron's gearbox, right in the worst wake of the dirty air as possible, and he just lost it going into turn 5.
Yeah, right as I was saying that, I didn't think dirty air was affecting him too much. I might have been wrong about that one.
Excuse me, turn 4, but back up front, it's Cameron Caldwell with now quite a decent-sized gap to, of course, that 14 of Michael Kruger. Going through 9 and 10 now as he goes towards turn 11. It's going to be quite a show for him here. He's got quite a gap, though, so he's going to be able to conserve that tire a lot more.
So, guys, one of my things is I love to be a spotter. iRacing allows you to spot people as well, you know, and it's not where you just join in as a spectator. I mean, it's an actual thing. For those of you that don't know, you actually join in as a spotter crew chief and you know, get to help guide a driver to a victory. Um, Caldwell is a driver that I used to spot all the time. It's actually how Caldwell and I really became friends. And so, you know, these road courses, they're a little bit tricky. You know, you're not going to have any cautions unless if it's you know, some league that has different rules. But iRacing rules, there's no cautions on road courses. So right about here, well, a couple laps ago, when Kruger had his mistake, if I'm, you know, spotting for Cam, I'm going to tell him, all right, look, only a little bit of time left here. You've got no pressure behind because, you know, P2 just had a mistake. He's now several seconds behind. Don't even worry about it. Just start conserving. If he gains time, that's all right. He's probably going to be pushing it anyway, trying to get back up to you. So just take care of your car here. Don't make any mistakes. Only a handful of laps to go, and you got this in the bag.
Just a minute and a half remaining here in Laguna Seca. We just saw Aaron Siciliano get around Craig Fryer for the P4 position, and also in turn 6, I believe, Danny Sabansky went off track again. He had a tow, so fortunately believe he's going to DNF here tonight in the second race. Such an unfortunate finish for podium finisher in the opening race tonight.
Yeah, Dalton Kelly also disconnected, so he's a few laps down now. His night was over a little bit ago. So he walks away with an 8th place finish. Looks like Saponski's going to walk away with 7th.
Siciliano off track.
Sliding around that dirt. Not a lot of time here left. The field is pretty spread out now. It would take pretty big mistake from someone to make a difference here with how the race is going. I feel like Cameron, like you guys were saying, you know, he just has to play it smart here, take his time. He has no pressure from behind right now. Getting real close to that 20-minute mark, so I feel like if not next lap, then 2 laps from now, it might be one to go.
Yeah, we have just got the 20-minute threshold, so I believe the next time by they will see the white flag. So I believe there's 2 laps remaining here at Laguna Seca. It's a 12-second gap between Brian Smith and Aaron Siciliano last time by. Check that. Now it's 9.9 seconds between the two. It's a pretty sizable gap. I don't think in 2 laps he's going to be able to chew down that deficit to the 54 car.
Well, we had so much action happen at the start of the race. So many people spin out, so many mistakes. Kind of, you know, the opposite of the heat race, which led to the field just being so spread out now. But overall, you know, I think we learned a lot today. I think Aaron Siciliano, it might have not been the race he wanted. You know, still walks away with P4. He probably would have liked the podium here. He showed a lot of speed, but I definitely feel if he can make the rest of these races, he's going to be a contender for the championship. I know Cameron Caldwell. I don't think he's planning on making all the races, so even though he walks away with the finish, you know, he probably might not be one that's going to be contending for the overall points championship at the end of the season. So, good points days for everyone else right now if things finish like this for Michael, Brian, and Aaron.
Absolutely, and we are on lap 15, so I believe this is going to be the final lap of the race tonight. Cameron Carter's got a 5.4 second lead over Mikey Kruger for the race lead. Kruger's cut it down sizably in the last couple laps, but it's not going to be enough. You can see him just in the distance barely as Caldwell comes into the corkscrew, turn number 8 for the last time tonight.
Yeah,
Smooth as can be.
Michael did gain a lot of time. I just think that's just Cam just being patient, recognizing that he has no pressure.
Oh, and Michael spun out in the middle of the corkscrew. He's going to be able to keep going and hang on for, I believe, second place, but it's all Cameron Caldwell up front as the 14 continues.
Yep.
Through turn 11 for the final time, Cameron Caldwell wins race number 2 for the Formula Fluid Series at Laguna Seca.
Beautifully done by that number 12 car. Just silky smooth the entire 20 minutes of this run. He made a lot of mistakes in the heat, but definitely was able to fix those errors and walks away with a nice big old W. Michael Kruger, P2.
Yeah, he did
And
indeed be able to hold on for second. He had a 6-second gap back to Brian Smith, who crossed the line in third. And Aaron Siciliano, fortunately, did not podium in this second round tonight. Going to bring it home with a P4 in the second showing, with Craig Fryer picking it up to a 5th place. Brett Bennett, tonight's opening race winner, unfortunately caught in a lap 1 incident. Can only muster a 6th place finish, and like we mentioned before, with DNFs tonight, Daniel Sponsky and Dalton Kelly 7th and 8th place tonight.
well, Josh, that was quite a race. We saw a lot happen here. And how do you feel like what from that you saw today are you gonna go into the rest of the season and be like, we can expect more of this? Like, what's something that you can take away from today?
Well, I think these drivers learn that these cars they aren't all that easy. These are easier road course cars to drive, but that doesn't mean that they're anything to sneeze at. I think going forward the rest of the season, these guys are going to have to figure out how to control the car a little bit better. And I'm not saying that they're all bad drivers by any means. Definitely would have done better than me. But just a lot of mistakes out there by everybody, and it just shows that this isn't easy at all. And I know that you touched base on that as well, Alonzo, earlier. That these things are not easy to win at all. That first race, every single driver made a mistake. This race here, the second race, I think every single person but Cameron Caldwell made a mistake. So, I think you take what you you got, walk away with it, and move to the next race. Just with a better mindset.
Cameron Caldwell does burnouts on the front straightaway. We're going to move on to our post-race interviews. I believe 3rd place finisher. Let's see if we can get him in here. Brian Smith.
Hello.
All right, we got Brian Smith here. Finished P3. Brian, what can you tell us about that race? Did you expect to walk away with the podium, or you just pretty satisfied? Were you seeking a higher position, or how do you feel?
I honestly think I was probably seeking a higher position if I was able to not spin once to the race. But I'll take it. That track is really, really hard. Tire wear was bad.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we noticed here, especially more so in the first heat. I would say is we saw a lot of drivers who weren't really making mistakes at the start of the heat. That really turned around by the end of it. Tires were really worn out, and it was kind of the opposite during the feature, where we saw a lot of people make a lot of mistakes in the beginning, which led to the field being so spread out. Do you feel like you could have done anything differently there at the start of the race to kind of take advantage of all these drivers dealing with worn tires?
I think the big thing is the bias adjustment. I think those guys that you see spinning at the end either are making a bad adjustment or they're not making enough adjustments. So when the balance shifts and the fuel load goes off, you're just getting loose in a way that you weren't before. So I think that's probably the biggest factor in keeping it straight.
All right. Well, it was the first race of the season, of season one, for Florid, and we have a lot of really good tracks ahead of us. What's your biggest takeaway from today, that you're gonna come into the rest of the season? You have more experience now, and yeah, what's your biggest takeaway?
My biggest thought is how I'm going to approach the invert next time because I really didn't give a lot of thought to who I was going to be racing around. And I got into a situation where I was kind of having to decide on the fly who I was going to let by, who I was going to defend against. So I'll try to be better than next time.
All right. Well, congratulations on your podium finish. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us here. Do you have anyone that you want to thank? Any shout outs?
Just Joe Strigley, sponsoring the team, helping us out. That's pretty much it for right now. Oh, and Brett's dad. Shout out to Brett's dad. He's watching.
All right. Shout out to Brett's dad. Thank you so much, Brian. We'll see you at Auto Club 2 weeks from now.
See ya.
All right. That was Brian. Now we got Michael in here. We're going to interview him.
Yeah, hey Michael. How's it going, buddy?
Doing fine, Josh. Just doing all right.
Yeah, great racing overall. A couple of mistakes late in the race. You were faster than Caldwell when you were right there battling with him, and then just couldn't get around him. So walk us through, just what it was like trying to chase down Cameron Caldwell and trying to, make the pass on him.
Yeah, I just felt like that I was able to kind of run him down and just get close to him. I felt like I could outbrake him in some corners. I felt like I could gain some big speed or just some time on him. I've had the position on him on after lap one. I just made a mistake and just overshot the corkscrew and gave up the lead. And from there on, I was just having to run him down, and I felt like I could possibly get by him. I felt like I could. I just felt like I couldn't quite get enough. He was just being a bit defensive on the line, and I was afraid to put the car in place it wasn't supposed to go. So I don't know. I just kept trying to bide my time and just wait for the perfect moment for him to possibly slip up and I could take advantage of it. But then I just ended up slipping up on lap 11 by just barely hitting the sand, trying to push the car as much as I could to get by him.
So, talk us about the corkscrew. I noticed a lot of drivers, not just yourself, but a lot of drivers were having issues just getting down that corkscrew, carrying a lot of momentum going into it. So just kind of walk us through what it was like, just driving into that corkscrew.
Well, for the corkscrew, it was a big hurdle pretty much all night for pretty much most of us. We'd underdrive it mostly to not try to avoid overshooting it because we'd all be afraid to try to push it more. what made it really a challenge was like, especially if you're behind someone, is you would possibly have to probably brake early, if not just lift out completely. Because typically you would brake before the 3 mark when you're going uphill. And when I was like behind Cam during that time, I just pretty much completely lifted way earlier to avoid blowing the corkscrew and try to get a better exit off. And it was really a challenge because you would try to get the best like straight line angle you possibly could, and so you try to hit the curbings all the way up before you got to the 3 sign. And what made it so difficult is how like it felt like the 3 kind of blended in because you're going so fast up the hill that when you're going to it, you go to the corkscrew and you just barely see the marker. It's so easy to miss it and just blow the corner. It's really hard to hit it. You just gotta. It's just kind of tough. It's just something you gotta like get used to after run several laps. It's because the 3 marker just comes up on you really, really quickly.
All right. Well, congrats on second place. Who got it? Who gets it done for you behind the number 14 machine?
I'd like to. Well, I guess kind of me. I guess. I mean, that was probably my best drive I've ever had in Formula Florida. I mean, I hadn't really had the best of runs in preseasons, and this is probably my best performance in the feature tonight. And I did fall short a bit of the top position, but I'll take second for now. It just kind of just can walk away knowing that I can have some pace and could possibly win one of these things. And I'd like to thank Nick Dwornik for having this set up. You guys commentating and stuff, Alonzo, Josh, and Adam. And I guess just look forward to Auto Moto next 2 weeks from now.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a couple weeks at the Auto Club Speedway.
All right, see y'all there.
And that was Michael Kruger, tonight's runner-up. And we go to Adam Kuhn, who has Cameron Caldwell in victory lane.
Yeah, Cameron, congrats on the win. First off, you started 4th on the grid. You were able to get up to 2nd on the opening lap. What was that frantic start like from your point of view?
Well, I was trying to make it as entertaining for you guys up in the booth as possible. I knew that I kind of had to go for it right there. Otherwise, I felt like the guys who were obviously faster behind me were going to pounce. So I wanted to put as many cars behind me and those guys as possible. Yeah, but it went pretty well, I thought. I would have liked to get maybe one more spot off into turn 1, but overall, obviously, worked out pretty well.
Absolutely. Michael Kruger going right off course in front of you and the corkscrew able to get you the lead on lap 2. What was it from there? You didn't have to be much faster than him. You were able to hold him off and just defend for the remaining laps.
Yeah, I'm still not quite comfortable in these cars yet. At least trying to go fast. There's a lot to kind of learn with these things and a lot of little technicalities of trying to get this thing around. So I was not very confident in front of him, especially with all the pressure he's piling on me. But I knew I just had to keep it on track, and that was my biggest thing after having a really sloppy first race. I don't think I had any incentive points that race, so I'm pretty happy about that. And obviously he made his mistake a little bit later on into the race, so by then I just kind of coast around for the remaining laps, make sure I don't screw it up for myself.
Well, that sloppy first race, it was a 6th place in that opening race for the season, but you're able to get it with a win here tonight in the second outing. What's that do for the overall night and the prospect of this league, of course?
Yeah, the win certainly helps my mood overall. It was definitely a good start for the league, I think. Obviously, we ran into preseason stuff, and then we had a pilot season a few months ago. So kind of took what we learned from that and put it all together for what we had tonight. And I think it was really successful. I personally just need to get better in these cars, but with some real life things going on, I won't be able to race very much. Might be able to make like 2 more races this season. So I'm going to try and enjoy it while I can. But overall, I'm really excited to be watching this on GCTV every Thursday or every other Thursday. And otherwise, yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot.
Well, congratulations again, Cameron. Who do you like to shout out before we let you go here tonight?
First, I'd like to give a shout out to Kruger for racing me clean for the last that we were battling. We had a really good battle, and as I mentioned earlier, it was pretty intense. And obviously, he had some runs on me that he could have taken, but he chose not to. Whereas we could have wrecked if we did take it, so I appreciate him being smart. Shout out to Radius Racing, all my teammates. Unfortunately, none of the other Radius guys showed up tonight, but those things happen sometimes. Just a shout out to all of my sponsors, C2 Graphics and the Pits News Grid Network, and everyone else that helps us get it onto the virtual track. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Thanks to all the viewers for watching. And we will see you guys in a couple weeks at Auto Club, and as well as hopefully for the In the Pits Truck Series at Daytona coming up soon too.
So absolutely, we look forward to both of those, Cameron. Congrats again, real quick, and we're gonna now introduce Nick Dornick into the broadcast booth, race admin, league owner for this Formula Floret series. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, how's it go? That was a wild first round of your Weekend Warrior Formula Florida action, don't you think?
Absolutely, it was a great show from beginning to end in both races, I think, and we were confused ourselves a couple times up here and what was going on, and it was chaotic, especially at the end of the first race and the beginning of the second, but quite a show.
Absolutely. From qualifying, you would have thought it might have been a runaway victory for Siciliano in that first race, but that corkscrew spin was all it took for Brett Bennett to have a sniff at the victory. Them two going at it for quite a while. Another mistake from Siciliano keeps the gap for Brett Bennett before their penultimate spin, which almost brought Daniel Saponski into the mix. It was very intense from the start. I didn't know how the second race would pan out after that action. And, it did not disappoint from the unfortunate spin of Brian Smith early on, not able to capitalize from his not so great first start, to Siciliano and Saponski unfortunately tangling up, causing Saponski to have to take his fast repair, with leaving Siciliano with damage, leaving Caldwell and Kruger to fight out for 1-2. I didn't expect that. My bingo card was not set for this.
No, absolutely not. Like you said, I think it was pretty surprising winners tonight. Two upset winners compared to the practice and qualifying sheets, like you mentioned, with Siciliano having a second on the field in both of them and not able to get the hardware and at least the top hardware in either. But real quick before we sign off, he does have the championship lead, just a 1-point margin over two different drivers, and it's pretty much tight the entire way through, Nick and Josh.
Yeah, looking at the points, Siciliano has points lead with 40 points. Caldwell Bennett 39, and Kruger and Brian C. Smith with 38 points. So the top five are separated by 2 points.
Indeed, and just a little bit farther down, Craig Fire having his first time in the F4, holding 6 with 28 points. Saponski with, unfortunately, his DNF not achieving the 75% race distance for race 2, puts him down in 7th with 20 points. But, he has the speed to keep maintaining that, and I'm sure if he continues on, he'll easily make that up once the drop races start going out.
Yeah, real quick before we get into the deep of the season, Nick, how many drop races are going to be implemented throughout the 12-weekend race calendar we have?
Yes, so for the 12 rounds we have going on alongside the In the Pits News Truck Series schedule, of those 24 races, 6 races will be dropped by the end of the season, accounting for an 18 race total.
Well, thank you for that clarification there. We look forward to talking with you in a couple weeks at the Auto Club Moto circuit.
Of course, and I can't wait to see these guys go back on track, fight for more. And of course, if you're interested in signing up for this series, if you just want to make your way over to the Blazer Sim Racing Discord, we'll have you set up over there for Formula Floret. Again, requirements are pretty straightforward. Just make sure you have a D license above 1.0. Make sure your road rating is underneath 3K. While we do have some aliens here, there are our limitations, but it's good fun, and hopefully we'll just keep growing from here.
Absolutely. We look forward to being here in a couple weeks and seeing the league grow throughout the season next. Thanks for joining us for a couple minutes here.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Was Nick Dornick, race admin, of course, league owner tonight, or race admin tonight, excuse me, league admin overall in the Formula 4 series. Excited to talk with him there for a few minutes. Real quick, Josh, looking forward to Auto Club. Have you ever really seen that moto layout there? It's pretty much flat the entire way till you get to the final corner, and it's a harsh transition onto the banking.
Yeah, you know, I'm not really too familiar with it. I'm hoping that I will be able to race it, but if not, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to watching how that race pans out. Um, I think it's gonna be lot of challenge going into that race. Um, it is a pretty long course around you know, the Auto Club Speedway. It's not going to be the oval, you know. Of course, it is road course, but um, you know, I think we're in for you know, another fun race in that one as well.
Absolutely, I agree. Hopefully we see you out there, Josh, and we look forward to seeing everyone either sign up or return and start off their Formula 4 for resumes here in a couple weeks. 2 weeks time at Auto Club Speedway, the Moto A layout, September 15th right here on JCTV, and of course, as mentioned before, the In the Pits News Truck Series returns September 10th at Daytona. How much are you looking forward to that, Josh, real quick, before we go off?
Well, first of all, I know I will be in that one as a driver, and I'm looking forward to that one a lot. I've been wanting to race in the Untitled News Truck Series for quite some time, but you know, I've been having a lot of fun calling the races in the booth, but we made it work out to where I'll be able to race full time, and the races will still be broadcasted on JCTV, so that's pretty cool. I'm really happy about that. That one's going to be fun, though, and I can't wait to get the number 42 JCTV truck, Chevrolet truck out there, and hopefully park it in Victory Lane.
Absolutely. So we'll look forward to that. And for Josh Copano and Lonzo Chicano and Nick Dornick, I'm Adam Kuhn. Thanks for joining us tonight for Formula 4, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.